Love is in the air. Well, at least for one season. Hello, everyone. It's Dylan from Yu-Gi-Oh! Everything, and welcome back to another video. Romance is a very mainstream narrative genre in media, and when done right, can really cause people to root for characters that are clearly head over heels for each other, or maybe are into one another but don't realize it yet. There's a lot of different sub-romantic genres, but whatever that genre is, relationships and romance can further character dynamics between not only the characters themselves, but also their connection with the audience. In the Yu-Gi-Oh! Franchise, I don't believe romance has been done very effectively throughout the shows. Between the 8 shows, we have only ever had one on-screen kiss, which ended in a swift slap in the face right after the kiss occurred. To call Yu-Gi-Oh! A romance anime is like calling the New York Jets a winning football team. It's just blatantly false. That being said, it's not like we haven't seen romantic elements throughout the shows. Yuya and Yuzu cared about each other a lot. Teo was head over heels for the Pharaoh, and who wouldn't be, let's be honest. And then, of course, you had the very obvious off-screen kiss implied between Yusei and Akiza at the end of 5Ds. Well, in this video, I wanted to talk about what I think is the greatest and most effective use of romance that we ever got in Yu-Gi-Oh! Until it wasn't. And I'm actually not talking about Yusei and Akiza, because I felt Akiza's feelings for Yusei limited her character after the Dark Signers arc concluded. The romance I want to talk to is from Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds, and I think it did an amazing job to further increase the driving forces for the characters involved and push them forward in extremely compelling ways. And that, my friends, is the relationship between Jack Atlas and Carly Carmine. I hope you all enjoy. Everyone knows the classic story of the nerd and the jock, and this is basically Yu-Gi-Oh's version of that. Carly was a beat reporter who wore very nerdy-esque glasses, while Jack was literally the king, the top of the top when it came to riding duels. Every man aspired to be him, and every woman wanted to be with him. There was nowhere for him to go but up. That was until his old pal Yusei showed up and beat him in the Fortune Cup finals. This was a pivotal moment for Jack, as not only did he lose the title of Duel King, but he also suffered grave injuries in the duel. This caused him to be taken away on a stretcher, so not only was Jack physically hurt from the battle, but his confidence and mental state was also greatly weakened. This is when a largely unknown reporter named Carly snuck into the hospital to visit him, trying to get an interview. She was under pressure from her chief editor to write a compelling story about the finals of the Fortune Cup. She failed to get an interview from Yusei, and so naturally, that led her to try with Jack. Her and Jack met in the hallway, and Jack immediately challenged Yugioh to a duel, as Yugioh was clearly under Dark Signer's control. Jack entrusted Carly to not only lead him in defeating Yugioh in that duel, but also to get him out of the hospital without anyone noticing, which Carly successfully managed to do. The next morning, Jack woke up and found himself at Carly's house, but he wasn't interested in conversing with her or even staying for that matter. He left and went straight to a train station where Carly swiftly tracked him down. Before boarding, Carly convinced him to stay so she could spend the day with him and try to help him relax. Jack felt a little indebted to Carly for what she did for him back in the hospital, so he decided to accept. Now, it's important to note that Carly was not necessarily head over heels for Jack. In fact, she even said that she didn't like arrogant and pompous people and felt like Jack was one of them based on watching his tournament performance. So that was a big difference in this meetup. Carly was not meeting Jack because she was romantically interested in him at first, which I felt was good because otherwise it would have been a little corny and what we've seen in Yu-Gi-Oh! A lot, where the girl is hopelessly in love with the guy and it just doesn't work out, or the guy just never reciprocates those feelings. I like that they both kind of had a little bit of a disinterest in each other. Jack was kind of just using Carly to help him get out of the hospital initially, and Carly was, of course, trying to use Jack for an interview. Carly's main purpose was not to really help Jack out here, but to get him to soften up so that she might be able to interview him for her newspaper. As the day went on, Jack and Carly did numerous things, including bungee jump and ride a bunch of different amusement park rides, and Jack was stone-faced on all of these. The new Jack Atlas challenge is out. Try to remain stone-faced the next time you are bungee jumping or riding a roller coaster. Probably not going to be too easy. And at the end of the day, Jack was clearly very angry about what has been going on with him, and Carly kind of was starting to realize why, and was even questioning whether she's a good person or not for trying to get Jack to open up for the sole purpose of just writing a story about him. Eventually, Jack overheard a conversation Carly had with another reporter, in which that reporter called out Carly for feeling that Jack was pompous and arrogant and was not really a fan of his. Carly then went to Jack, and Jack actually opened up for the first time really ever since leaving Satellite. He explained that he was so guilt-ridden for throwing away his friends and throwing away his past just for the opportunity to become king. This is when Carly said one of the most pivotal lines to him ever. The old Jack died in the duel with Yugioh, and the true Jack is being born right now. A Jack that will value not only winning, but also friendships and bonds. This actually resonated with Jack, and for the first time ever since leaving Satellite, Jack actually had hope that he would be able to make a better future for himself, utilizing bonds and friends, and he wanted to go see Yugioh right away. Carly and Jack had a real connection here, and this is where their admiration for each other really started to blossom. Now, Jack left to go to Satellite, and Carly was still hot on the trail of what was actually going on with the Dark Signers, and she unfortunately made the decision to go investigate the Arcadia movement. It was here that she would be killed by Divine and reborn as a Dark Signer, with her big dark desire being that she wanted to be with the former king, Jack Atlas. Now, Jack and Carly would meet once more right as the Dark Signers and Signers squared off before they would each have their individual duels. Jack immediately noticed there was something very familiar with the girl in the orange and black hoodie. He ran to her as soon as the Dark Signers disbanded, pulled off her hoodie, and realized instantly that this was Carly. The same Carly that helped him move forward as a person. The same Carly that gave him the strength and courage and reassurance that he still was able to make right on all the wrongs that he had done in the past. Jack, shocked and confused, knew that he would have to meet with Carly and duel her. And that's exactly what happened. And it was in this duel that the romantic elements of these characters really blossomed and played a massive part in the reason as to why this is viewed as one of the best and most emotional duels in Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds. In the middle of the duel, Dark Signer Carly uses her power to try to manipulate Jack into believing that he lost the duel, the Dark Signers won, and that her and Dark Signer Jack are ruling over basically hell. There are no humans left, and this is what Jack wanted. Jack wanted to be the king, ruling over everyone, the last man, and in this case, only man, standing at the top. But Jack quickly realized, thanks to the broken glasses of Carly, that this is not what the real Carly would have wanted, and it's not what he would have wanted, and it's not what Carly would have wanted for him. The broken glasses, those nerdy, ditzy glasses, those glasses were a reminder of the Carly that once was before she became a Dark Signer, and the one woman that actually spoke to him on a deep spiritual level. And he realized this is not what Carly wants, and this is all an illusion because of the Dark Signers, and that's exactly what it was. Jack was able to break out of it, and the duel proceeded. And towards the end of the duel, Jack was about to win, but not just win the duel, but do what he felt was right. Thanks to the impact that Carly had on him, Jack was going to kill himself alongside Carly so that they could both die together, even proclaiming that dying together would make him happy and he would be totally fine with it. That's how much Carly meant to him. This nerdy beat reporter who was really a nobody, and the king who was bigger than everybody else at the time these two met. He now viewed on not only equal footing, but he viewed Carly as basically an extension of himself because of what she was able to do for him right after that tournament concluded. However, Carly had one last gasp within her dark signer self. She activated a trap half a second before Jack activated his, which would have ended the duel in a draw, killing them both. And the real Carly activated a trap that allowed her monster to basically be destroyed and forced her to die while allowing Jack to live. It's one of the most beautiful dueling moments you will ever see, and it exemplified these two characters so much. Jack was willing to die alongside Carly, but Carly knew that Jack had a much greater purpose in this and needed to live on in order to save the world. The scene we get between them is absolutely gut-wrenching, where Carly dies in Jack's arms, confessing her love for him. Jack, basically in tears, goes on to duel Godwin alongside Yusei and Crow, where he proclaims that he was saved by one woman's love. And that, my friends, is romance done beautifully. No damsel in distress plot lines, no kidnapping plot lines, just two characters that cared deeply about each other and were pushed to valuing bonds thanks to, of course, Carly. The two of them had a lasting impact on each other, and I think this was romance done incredibly well. Until it wasn't. The Dark Signers arc ends in episode 64, and obviously there are still 90 episodes left of Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds. Well, after the Dark Signers arc, Carly was reduced to a background gag character. She would now fawn over Jack and obsess over Jack in kind of an annoying over-the-top way, and Jack would never reciprocate anything towards her. Now, there's a few reasons why this could have happened. I think the biggest is probably the rumors about Carly's voice actress and the Roma Sophie cult. I'm sure most of you guys know that. I'll link the video down below. The other reason is that maybe they just felt it ran its course. But I think it is unbelievable that one of the best done romance stories through the Dark Signers arc was just totally dropped after the Dark Signers arc. I still felt like there was a lot that they could have done with this. Maybe you could have had your actual first, like, boyfriend-girlfriend dynamic. Like, we've never seen that in Yu-Gi-Oh! Where one of the major characters actually has a girlfriend or a boyfriend. We've never seen that. And, like, it didn't need to be a focal point of these characters, but I think a lot of the fans would have loved to see that, especially seeing how well these two work together in the Dark Signers arc. There were no kidnapping moments, no damsel in distress moments. Like, it was a really well done romance that pushed both of these characters forward, and you felt both of these characters were on equal footing, and it wasn't just the girl hopelessly chasing the guy. Now, that's sadly what it became after the Dark Signers arc, but Jack and Carly, in my opinion, is still the greatest example of romance done right in a Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime that we have ever gotten. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts on the Jack and Carly dynamic, and let me know your thoughts on their duel in the Dark Signers arc. Do you think it's one of the best duels ever? I certainly do, especially in Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds. Would love to hear from all of you down below. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have an amazing day. Take care, guys.